issue, a very naughty one, the appeal court today, where the court has set aside all the orders restraining the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Accountant General of the Federation from releasing funds to the Rivers State government. It does look like a win for Governor Sim Fubara. This has been largely a political legal tussle. But then, what does this mean? Legally speaking, let's hear from Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Falana, who is live for us from Accra in Ghana. Mr. Falana, give us an understanding. Legally speaking, what does this position of the appeal court mean?
Legally speaking, in the last 3 weeks or thereabout, the Court of Appeal, sitting in Abuja, has upheld the local government election conducted by the Rivers State government on October 5 this year. It has also today upheld the position of the Rivers State government under Governor Fubara that the statutory allocations payable to Rivers State government cannot be the affairs of the Federal High Court. In other words, the decision of the Honorable Justice Abdul Malik directing the Accountant General of the Federation and the Central Bank of Nigeria to withhold the statutory allocations of Rivers State government has been quashed, vacated, and set aside by the Court of Appeal today, because those directives, those orders, have been found to be legal and unconstitutional, because the statutory allocations of Rivers State or matters relating to the revenue of that state are internal affairs of the state. Only the state high court can hear and determine any dispute arising from them. In other words, the decision on the local government election, the decision of the Court of Appeal, which validated the local government election conducted by the Rivers State Electoral Commission, and the judgment of the Court of Appeal delivered today, which has set aside the decision that the funds, the statutory allocations of Rivers State persist, be confiscated. These two decisions are in line with the tenets of federalism outlined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Court of Appeal is saying the fact that you join federal agencies or federal officers to a case that has to do with the revenue or local government elections or internal affairs of the state government cannot confer jurisdiction on the Federal High Court. I am convinced that both decisions delivered by the Court of Appeal will go a long way to reinforce the principles, basic tenets of federalism in the country.
Did the appeal court, did it about its mind to the fact that there are strong position being pushed at the trial court to say, look, the institution, the umpire, did not follow the due process that is set to conduct an election, which makes the process of that election, the procedure towards that election, invalid. The court of its mind to that how can you go into the election without proper notices, without proper procedures? And those are fundamental to any electoral process, isn't it?
Notices were given. Those who did not participate in the election decided to go to court to truncate the democratic process. And by the way, a judgment was delivered by the Rivers State High Court, which endorsed the election and directed the Rivers State Electoral Commission to proceed with the election. Nobody has challenged the judgment of the State High Court. Furthermore, following the election, the Rivers State government set up the Rivers State Local Government Election Tribunal. Petitions are pending before the tribunal. So So it is not an affair of the Federal High Court. Assuming without conceding, Sheung, that you are dissatisfied with the processes put in place by the Rivers State Electoral Commission, because it is a state affair, you have to approach the Rivers State High Court. The moment you rush to the Federal High Court, you have lost it. Because the Federal High Court lacks the jurisdiction by virtue of Section 251 of the Constitution to dabble into affairs of local government.
Let us see, can you drag a federal institution that the law also recognizes that it can only appear before a federal court to a state court?
Sure, there is no such law. What the law is now saying is that what is important by the several decisions of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court is that it is the subject matter that is of crucial importance. It's not the personality or the nature of the agencies brought before the court. Once it is a local government affair, a local government election, whether you join the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the State Security Service, that in itself does not confer jurisdiction on them. It is the same thing with the question of the revenue. Once you are talking of the revenue of a state, you cannot go to the Federal High Court because, again, under Section 251, the question of the statutory allocation of a state government is not mentioned there.
So, Mr. Falana, so the position of the appellate court today is a win for Governor Sim Fubara because it's largely a political matter. Now, it does look like the man can go ahead and start running the affairs of his state without having to look over his shoulder for any political opponent coming after him. Is that what it looks like now?
No, I don't want to go to the politics of it, but as far as the law is concerned, which is my own area, the Court of Appeal has today and 3 weeks ago upheld the principles of federalism by stating abundantly that the affairs of state government cannot be taken to the Federal High Court. It's only if you are challenging maybe the abuse of your fundamental rights that the Constitution, by virtue of Section 46, provides that you can approach either court. But when it comes to the revenue of a state government, local government elections conducted by the State Independent Electoral Commission, you cannot go to the Federal High Court. That is what the law is saying, and that is what has been pronounced upon by the Court of Appeal, in line with several decisions of the Supreme Court.
Mr. Falana, quickly, with what has happened today, what of the backlog, does this position of the court have a retroactive effect? It means that whatever that is backlogged that has not been disbursed to the state automatically will get it back. Is that what it means?
Once a judgment of the Court of Appeal has been delivered, everything done by the state, by the Federal High Court, in this case, have been set aside. All action, all orders made by the Federal High Court with respect to the local government elections conducted by the Rivers State Electoral Commission, with respect to the funds, statutory allocations of Rivers State government are hereby vacated.
Interesting. So we'll see how this comes out. I'm very sure that those on the other side of the divide might be looking forward to how they will appeal this or stay this particular position at the higher court. But Mr. Falana, let me bring you.
All parties are going to be advised to study the judgment very well and not waste their time and resources on pursuing any appeal.
In any case, the people of Rivers State are at the center of this, and they will be at the brunt if any further battle and dragging governance down. But quickly, before I allow you to go, Mr. Falana, because I begged you to get this done, and thank you so much for allowing us to have a conversation with you. But quickly, you are an Ekiti man. One of the doyen of the legal industry, Chief Afe Babalola, has dragged Mr. Dele Farotimi, a very known right activist and lawyer, before the LPDC, dragged him before the court. And what is going on there? People would think that Chief Abubalola is your very good friend, maybe your very good senior brother. Maybe somehow you can prevail on him. Or what exactly are you coming in this matter? That's what Yoruba says, that when elders are in the market, you do not watch where the head of a child is turned the other way. What do you say to this matter, Mr. Falana?
Well, you know that I am always very reluctant to comment on matters that are pending in court. And as at the last count, there are about 5 cases that have arisen from the book written by Mr. Dele Farochimi. Before the matter went to court, I made a statement which had to do with decriminalization of free speech in Nigeria. But since the matter has gone to court, I cannot comment on it. When a young man, somebody recently wrote or made some comment that I consider defamatory, I went to court. I filed an action in the High Court, and I'm pursuing the matter. My son also filed a similar action in the High Court in Lagos State in order to redeem our reputation, which the gentleman attempted to rubbish. And it's allowed in any civilized society. But again, I can tell you, this is not the first time a lawyer has been charged with criminal defamation in Nigeria. In 1988, Chief Fawemi came out of a court in Lagos, and the journalist asked him, Chief, what is your impression of what happened today? And Chief Fawemi, in his characteristic style, said, what I witnessed today is our Dakeri, Saku show. He was arrested and charged with criminal defamation on his birthday, April 22, 1988. He was charged before a magistrate court. Again, you can trust Gani. He went to the state high court to challenge the validity of the charge. That he didn't disclose any offense against him. He won the case. And one of the, and I can tell you this, right? Under the military, we're abducted. A lot of the time, we're arrested, abducted in the dead of the night, taken away. But now we are in a democracy where a court will issue a bench warrant for your arrest, it will be executed. At that time, you were just thrown away. We're not taken to court most of the time because we're detained under the State Security Detention of Persons Decree number 2 of 1984. But now with democracy, if you are charged before the court, you have the right to assemble lawyer to defend you.
All right.
So on one occasion, we're told in the prison, we're taken out of Kuje prison, and we're deceived that we're taking you to the airport to go to Lagos, and the driver just made some maneuver. We ended up in the chief magistrate court in Gwagwalada. We're charged with treasonable felony. Who couldn't brief a lawyer? 544. So the late Chief Ganifa and me and myself had to defend ourselves and our colleagues. Treasonable felony. So that was what we went through in this
Mr. Falana,
but happily, now we're in the democracy. You are taken to court. Get your lawyer to defend you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Femi Falana. I thought that
thank you.
You will make it an Ekiti affair, and there will be a political solution to this matter. But thank you so much indeed.
I live in Lagos.
But you're an Ekiti man. You can't run away from that.
Thank you very much.
That's what your people will say. But thank you so much indeed, Mr. Femi Falana.